Florida statutes. The members of the board appearing remotely for this meeting are Chair Peter Scalia, Vice Chair Gabby Camacho, and board members Linda Kemp, Kevin Chenault, and Camille Hepting. The city has established the following 4 options to ensure a public comment for a virtual meeting. E-comments via Granicus. E-comments is integrated with the published media agenda. Individuals may review the agenda item details and indicate their position on the item. Comments received during the meeting will become part of the official record if posted prior to the closing of public comment. The city clerk will read received comments into the record. Number 2, emails. Individuals may submit written comments or videos to nahab@myclearwater.com. All comments received by 5 p.m. the day before the meeting, April 30th, will become part of the official record. The city clerk will read received comments into the record. Call-in number. During the meetings, individuals will be able to call into 727-562-4646 and be placed on air to speak to an individual item. Council chambers. Additionally, like any other NAHAB meeting, the public may provide public comment during the meeting at the main library, council chambers, 100 North Osceola Avenue. To ensure a complete record of the board's actions, we ask that each individual wishing to speak clearly state your name and spell your last name for the clerk. Roll call. I will ask the board members to introduce themselves and the fields each of you represent. I will begin by introducing myself. I am Pete Scalia, board chair. I represent low-income people. Vice Chair Camacho, please introduce yourself and identify the fields you represent.
I am Gabby Camacho, representing residential home building industry.
Board member Kemp.
Linda Kemp, representing mortgage banking.
Board member Chenault.
Kevin Chenault, representing the nonprofit industry.
And board member Hepting.
Camille Hepting, representing the employers.
Item number 2, the approval of minutes. Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of the board's March 10th, 2020 meeting. May I have a motion of approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Do any board members wish to discuss this item of the minutes?
No.
Then I will ask the board to vote on this item. Due to board members participating remotely, I will ask for your vote on this item, approving the minutes individually by roll call. When I call your name, please tell the board whether you approve or oppose the staff recommendation for this item. Vice Chair Camacho?
A, approved.
Board member Kemp?
Approve.
Board member Chenault?
Approve.
Board member Hepting?
Approve.
And I approve. The minutes are approved. Item number 3, citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. I will now ask if there are any members of the public wishing to speak to items not on today's agenda. We have multiple ways for the public to present comments, so I will need to ask multiple sources if there is anyone from the public wishing to speak. Mr. Lane, is there anyone in council chambers wishing to speak to an item not on today's agenda?
No, sir.
Ms. Call, are you aware of any public comments?
No, sir.
Ms. Castelli, are you aware of anyone wishing to speak to an item not on today's agenda? Seeing no one else coming forward, we will move on to the next item. Item 4, new business. Recommend City Council approval of the amendment to the City of Clearwater's 2019-2020 Annual Action Plan to reallocate unencumbered funding and to budget for additional funding provided by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, to address needs resulting from the COVID-19 emergency. Mr. Lane will present this item.
Thank you. I'm Chuck Lane, Assistant Director, Economic Development and Housing Department. I want to thank you all for your commitment to this board and for your service to Clearwater residents. We're in a tough time right now, as we all know. It's an understatement. But because of the programs that we have for housing and community development, we can do a small part in affecting growth and improvement. I think we can probably all agree that the federal government's response to COVID-19 has been significant. The $2 trillion CARES package that President Trump signed into law on March 27th included an allocation of $3 billion of CDBG money to be distributed by the same formula used to distribute the CDBG money annual allocation to local governments. The city received $492,592 to prepare for, respond to, and recover from the COVID-19 crisis. For us to push out this money, we need to complete what is called a substantial amendment to the city's annual action plan. I know our board members are all familiar with this, but for the benefit of those listening, the city has a consolidated plan. This is a 5-year planning document identifying the goals and objectives for the use of federal funds over the life of that plan. Those federal funds, of course, are Home Investment Partnership Program and Community Development Block Grant Program money. We also complete an annual action plan identifying activities and projects that are consistent with the goals and objectives of that consolidated plan. Including this additional CDBG money into the annual action plan is exactly what is triggering the requirement for this substantial amendment. So right now, an executive summary of the draft substantial amendment is posted on our website, and we are still within our required 5-day public comment period. The 5-day public comment period is typically a 30-day public comment period. HUD provided a waiver on this to help expedite the amendment processes for local government. So we're welcoming public comment on the draft, and prior to public comment period beginning, we posted an ad in Tampa Bay Times informing people of the public comment period. So people can comment at today's meeting, as Chairman Scalia noted. People can email comments to nahab@myclearwater.com. They can mail comments to 600 Cleveland Street, Suite 600, Clearwater, Florida, 33755, although it may be a bit late for that. Or they can simply call 727-562-4023 and submit a comment over the phone. I'd like to give you an overview of the 3 primary resources we are making available in response to COVID-19 with the federal funds that I've described. Of course, the city as an organization has responded to the pandemic in many ways, but our discussion today will focus on the programs utilizing the federal funding and the 3 initiatives that we're trying to roll out. First of all, CDB regulations always require that we not spend more than 15% of our annual allocation on public services. So our current year's allocation is $764,043. So our public service cap, our maximum spend, was $114,606. HUD has eliminated the public service cap now to allow additional spending on public services in response to COVID-19. We're planning to reprogram $131,000 for public service organizations whose work helps directly respond to COVID-19. So we'll be reaching out to some of our partners that we think can help in this area. Secondly, we will be providing rolling out a rent, mortgage, and utility payment assistance program to qualifying residents. And these residents are folks that will not qualify for Pinellas County's program. Pinellas County has announced a program that they estimate about $75 million will be funded in this program for rental assistance and mortgage assistance. Our pot of money is much smaller. We have about $300,000 in state housing initiatives partnership program funding, and we're budgeting another $300,000 from home program income for a total project budget of $600,000. We'll manage the program until the funds are depleted. Now, Pinellas County's program serves households up to 200% of the poverty line. That's equal to about 50% of area median income. That's a very low income bracket. Income qualifications for the city's program will be those households whose income is too high to qualify for the county's program and up to 80% of area median income. We realize that there are a lot of folks out there that are over the 80% level that are in dire need as well. But as you know, our programs need to serve low to moderate income people. So that's what we're focusing on with these funds. Grants will provide for up to $4,000 for up to 3 months back rent or mortgage assistance and past due utility payments. Payments for unpaid months prior to April will not be eligible. And lastly, we're rolling out a Clearwater Back to Business program. It's a business assistance program. Denise Sanderson, Department Director, will be presenting the full. Okay. Denise Sanderson, who's on the call, she will be presenting the full program to Council on Monday and on Thursday for Council's approval. In simple terms, it's a grant and technical assistance program. Qualifying businesses will be eligible for up to $5,000 in grant funding and up to $1,000 in technical assistance. CDBG will be used to fund a portion of the program. We have current CDBG agreements with Prospera and Tampa Bay Black Business Investment Corporation. They currently provide technical assistance under our CDBG micro enterprise program. Economic Development Housing staff will perform the initial screening of applicants to determine what type of technical assistance is best suited for each business. Technical services will include legal services, accounting services, marketing guidance, and general business assistance. The annual action plan amendment budgets $394,074 towards grant and technical services, and an additional $98,518 to cover administrative costs. So these three categories really encapsulate the changes to our annual action plan that we're proposing with this amendment. So I do have a layout, a table of the expenditures that we're moving around if the council chooses, but otherwise, that concludes my presentation, and I'll take comments, please, and questions.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item? Oh, I'm sorry, Camille. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Chuck. I think this is great. My question is, as far as the rent, mortgage, and utility program assistant program works, would you like us as the NAHB board to help residents know to apply for the county one first, and then if they don't necessarily get the county assistance, to apply for the city one? Is that kind of how it's going to work?
It could work that way. People may know where they fall, what income bracket they fall in, and if they know enough, if there's enough information about the programs, they may know which, if either, they qualify for. If they qualify for the county's program and they get denied because their income is too high, we would certainly encourage them to apply for ours.
And I assume everything's going to be on myclearwater.com for people to apply?
We'll certainly have information on there. We'll have a link to the application. So yeah, they'll be able to go into myclearwater.com, our housing landing page, affordable housing landing page, and they'll be able to, once it's up and running, and we anticipate it to be up and running on May 11th, if all goes well, and council approves the amendment next week. And they'll be able to get into the system from there and submit an application.
Okay, thank you.
We're using what's called Neighborly software.
Chuck, if I may add, we also have on the city's website, myclearwater.com, a COVID-19 landing page. It's a banner that sits at the top of the website. We'll also post the information, any COVID-related responses, including these types of programs, will also be posted on that resource page as well.
Are there any other questions from any members of the board? Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item? Mr. Lane?
There's no one in chambers.
Ms. Call?
Comments?
I'm sorry.
I do have one comment to read into the record. It was submitted on April 27, 2020. It says, "Dear Mr. Lane, I recently became aware of your public notice in the Sunday's edition of the Tampa Bay Times. The notice requested public comments on the city's increased allocation of $492,592 in CDBG funds through the CARES Act to be used to prevent, prepare for, and respond to COVID-19. The public comments should reference our perception of how these funds shall be distributed. As you are aware, Clearwater Neighborhood Housing Services, Inc. has been providing housing services to residents of the city for a number of years. With the recent pandemic, we have received comments from these residents on the current needs to maintain housing. They stated that they need financial assistance to temporarily pay their mortgage or rent due to being temporarily unemployed due the stay-at-home mandate to address the coronavirus. They also noted the need for assistance to help them prevent foreclosures. We recommend that you allocate some of the funds for the activities listed above. We currently have staff that would assist you in distributing these funds for the CDBG program. We request that this letter be entered into your public comments to the Neighborhood Affordable Housing Advisory Board and the City Council. We thank you for soliciting public comments on this new funding allocation and look forward to assisting the residents of the City of Clearwater. Sincerely, I.C. Gully with the the Clearwater Neighborhood Housing Services, Inc.
Ms. Costelli, any comments? May I have a motion to approve?
I second the motion.
Do I have a second? Yes, we have a second. Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second the motion.
May I have I'm sorry, I will now ask the board individually to vote on this item. Vice Chair Camacho,
Approved.
Board Member Kemp,
Approved.
Board Member Chenal,
Approve.
Board Member Hepting,
Approved.
and I approve as well. Did I miss anybody?
Nope.
Okay. The motion carries unanimously. That concludes the scheduled business for today's meeting. I will now ask board members individually if they have any additional comments. This may include any old or new business, as well as general comments for the public, the board, and for the staff. Vice Chair Camacho,
No additional comments.
Board Member Kemp,
Nothing additional.
Board Member Chenault,
No additional comments.
Board Member Hepting.
No additional comments. Thank you.
I have no comments. Mr. Lane, do you have any additional comments for the board?
I do, and it's just to talk about our next meeting. And I think, I know we are going to cancel the next meeting. It's a meeting that we can postpone until the June scheduled meeting. So that's what we're going to do at this time. I don't know that we'll be in a much different place for the May meeting than we are now. So the next meeting will be on June 9th at 9 a.m. in council chambers. So that's all I have for the board.
Very well then. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.